The quantum resonance array hummed with an energy that felt different from anything Dr. Elena Rodriguez had experienced in her 23 years of planetary exploration. X-279 was supposed to be another routine survey mission, a forgotten world on the outer rim of human-explored space, catalogued but never thoroughly investigated. Geological surveys had marked the planet as unremarkable, a rocky terrestrial world with minimal atmospheric density, scattered mineral deposits, and no signs of previous exploration. The expedition team of 12 researchers from the Interstellar Exploration Consortium had initially prepared for a standard 2-week mapping mission. Standard protocol dictated a comprehensive scan of the planet's surface and subsurface structures, collecting data that would eventually populate massive galactic databases. Dr. Rodriguez adjusted the sensitivity on her personal scanning device, her fingers moving with the practiced efficiency of someone who had spent more years in space than on solid ground. Something was different about this planet. The initial scans had shown typical geological formations, stratified rock layers, mineral concentrations, tectonic stress points. But there was an underlying pattern that kept pulling at the edges of her scientific intuition. "Carlos," she called to her geological research partner, "can you verify these quantum fluctuations?" Carlos Mendes approached, his augmented reality interface projecting a holographic representation of the subsurface scans. His dark eyes narrowed as he analyzed the data. "These aren't natural geological resonances," he murmured, more to himself than to Elena. The signal first appeared as a microscopic quantum variation, so small that most scanning systems would have dismissed it as background noise. But the team's next-generation equipment, developed through years of refinement and technological innovation, caught the anomaly. It was a pulse of information so complex that it seemed to dance between states of existence, challenging the very fundamentals of current scientific understanding. Dr. Sarah Chen, the team's quantum communication specialist, joined them. Her fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, isolating and analyzing the signal. "This is extraordinary," she said, her voice a mixture of professional restraint and barely contained excitement. "The signal isn't just a random energy burst. It's structured, purposeful." The research vessel's main computer began to process the anomalous data. Quantum algorithms designed to parse complex information started to unravel the signal's intricate layers. What began as a barely perceptible fluctuation started to reveal itself as something more, a message or perhaps a test. Rodriguez felt the familiar surge of scientific curiosity that had driven her through countless discoveries. This was more than just another planetary survey. Something on X-279 was trying to communicate, or perhaps evaluate the capabilities of those who had discovered its existence. "Begin full spectrum analysis," she instructed the team. "Quantum, electromagnetic, gravitational. Use every scanning method we have available." The next few hours became a symphony of technological investigation. Sophisticated scanning equipment probed the planet's surface and deeper subsurface regions. Quantum entanglement sensors, capable of detecting the most minute variations in space-time, worked in concert with advanced geological mapping tools. Gradually, a picture began to emerge. Beneath layers of seemingly solid rock, complex geometric patterns started to resolve. They weren't natural formations. These were structural signatures that suggested intentional design. The quantum signal continued to pulse, growing more complex with each layer of analysis. "It's responding to our scanning," Carlos observed, his voice a mixture of awe and scientific skepticism. "Each time we increase our scanning resolution, the signal adapts. It's almost like it's learning from our approach." Dr. Rodriguez knew they were on the precipice of something extraordinary. Planetary surveys rarely yielded more than geological data and mineral composition reports. But this was different. The planet held a secret, and it seemed almost eager to be discovered. As the ship's chronometer marked the passage of time, the team worked with increasing intensity. The impossible signal continued its intricate dance, promising revelations that would challenge everything humanity understood about extraterrestrial communication and technological complexity. Little did they know that their discovery would soon reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. The drilling platform hummed with controlled power, its advanced cutting mechanisms poised to penetrate layers of rock that had remained undisturbed for millennia. Dr. James Chen watched the holographic display with intense concentration, his fingers hovering over a complex array of control interfaces that represented the pinnacle of human geological exploration technology. "Resonance stabilizers at maximum," called out Miguel Rodriguez, the team's chief engineering specialist. His hands moved with practiced precision, adjusting quantum adaptive drilling parameters that had been developed through decades of extreme planetary exploration research. The planet's crust proved unlike anything in the team's extensive database. Traditional drilling methods would have failed catastrophically, but their equipment was designed to adapt. Sonic mapping technology revealed increasingly complex subterranean structures that seemed to shift and realign with each millimeter of descent. "The rock composition is changing," Sarah Chen noted, her voice tinged with scientific excitement. "It's not just geological metamorphosis. These structural changes appear intentional." Microscopic sensors embedded in the drilling apparatus began to relay data that defied conventional understanding. The rock layers weren't merely geological formations. They appeared to be sophisticated adaptive barriers. Each cutting mechanism was met with a subtle resistance that seemed to learn and respond to the drilling approach. Miguel adjusted the quantum frequency modulation, watching as the drilling interface displayed increasingly complex readings. "The material is reconfiguring itself," he muttered. "It's like the entire subsurface is one massive, interconnected system." Dr. Elena Rodriguez moved between the monitoring stations, her analytical mind working to piece together the emerging puzzle. The quantum signal they had initially detected now seemed to be part of a much larger, more intricate network. What had appeared to be solid rock was revealing itself as something far more complex. "Prepare secondary scanning protocols," she instructed the team. "We need to understand the adaptive mechanisms of these subsurface structures." As the drilling continued, the team noticed something extraordinary. The deeper they penetrated, the more the surrounding material seemed to respond. Microscopic structural changes occurred in real time, creating pathways that seemed to guide their descent rather than resist it. Carlos Mendez, the geological expert, couldn't contain his amazement. "This isn't natural rock formation," he explained to the team. "These structures are responding with what can only be described as intentional guidance. It's almost as if the planet itself is directing our exploration." The quantum sensors began to pick up increasingly complex energy signatures. What had started as a subtle signal was now a symphonic network of information, pulsing with an intelligence that challenged everything the team understood about planetary structures. Suddenly, the drilling interface erupted with a burst of quantum-encoded data. Holographic displays filled with intricate geometric patterns, mathematical sequences that seemed to dance and reconfigure themselves in millisecond intervals. The team watched in collective amazement as the data revealed glimpses of something monumental hidden beneath the planet's surface. "We're not just drilling," James Chen observed. "We're being invited." The adaptive drilling mechanism began to move with an almost guided precision. Where conventional exploration would have required multiple attempts and significant time, their equipment seemed to find precisely the right path with uncanny efficiency. It was as if the planet was collaborative, offering a carefully measured revelation. By the 16th hour of their descent, the team had penetrated deeper than any previous planetary exploration mission. The subsurface structures were no longer random. They formed complex geometric patterns that suggested intentional design. "This is beyond archaeological discovery," Elena Rodriguez said, her voice quiet but charged with significance. "We're witnessing something that challenges our entire understanding of planetary formation and potential intelligence." The drilling platform continued its descent, each meter revealing more of the mysterious structure hidden beneath X-279's surface. The team worked with a mixture of scientific discipline and barely contained excitement, knowing they were on the brink of a discovery that could reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. Somewhere deep below, something ancient and patient waited to be understood. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display that pulsed with impossible complexity. The communication patterns they had discovered defied every known linguistic model in human scientific history. What began as an encrypted signal had transformed into a multidimensional language that seemed to exist simultaneously across multiple cognitive and perceptual planes. "It's not just a language," she muttered, tracing intricate geometric patterns that shifted and reconfigured with each passing moment. "It's an entire system of communication that challenges the very concept of communication itself." The research team gathered around her, each specialist bringing a unique perspective to the unfolding mystery. Dr. Elena Rodriguez leaned in, her analytical mind working to decode the seemingly impossible patterns. Quantum linguists had theorized about multidimensional communication for decades, but this was the first tangible evidence of such a system. Carlos Mendez, typically focused on geological data, found himself drawn into the linguistic puzzle. "Look at how the patterns respond," he observed. "Each time we attempt to analyze a specific segment, the entire communication matrix reshapes itself." The holographic display became a living canvas of information. What appeared to be random geometric shapes would suddenly resolve into complex mathematical equations, then dissolve into what seemed like musical notation, only to reform into something entirely different. It was a language that existed beyond traditional linear communication. Sarah's specialized translation algorithms, developed through years of sinolinguistic research, began to parse fragments of meaning. Each breakthrough revealed more questions than answers. The communication system seemed to be evaluating the researchers as much as they were trying to understand it. "It's adaptive," she explained to the team. "Each of our analytical approaches is being processed, analyzed, and responded to simultaneously. This isn't just a language, it's a cognitive interface." Miguel Rodriguez, the team's engineering specialist, noticed something extraordinary. The communication patterns seemed to synchronize with the team's collective cognitive activity. Quantum sensors detected subtle shifts in brainwave patterns, suggesting an unprecedented level of interactive communication. "The language is learning from us," James Chen remarked, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious wonder. "It's not just translating, it's understanding our method of understanding." Hours turned into days as the team worked tirelessly. Traditional linguistic models proved useless. This was a communication system that required simultaneous visual, auditory, quantum state, and cognitive interpretations. Each team member contributed unique insights, their collective expertise becoming a key to unlocking the mysterious language. Sarah developed a breakthrough approach. Instead of trying to translate the language linearly, she created a multi-dimensional interpretation matrix. The holographic displays exploded with intricate patterns that seemed to breathe and pulse with living intelligence. Fragments of meaning began to emerge. It wasn't a simple communication. It was a comprehensive knowledge transfer system. The language carried not just information, but context, emotional nuance, and layers of scientific and philosophical understanding that transcended human communication models. "We're not just decoding a language," Elena said, her eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. "We're learning an entirely new way of perceiving and understanding information." The most remarkable aspect was the language's responsiveness. Each team member's approach triggered different layers of communication. A mathematician would see complex mathematical relationships. A linguist would perceive intricate grammatical structures. A physicist would uncover fundamental universal principles. As the days progressed, the team realized they were experiencing something beyond traditional scientific discovery. This was a first contact scenario of the most profound kind. A communication system so advanced it could adapt to the cognitive capabilities of those attempting to understand it. By the end of the week, they had moved from complete incomprehension to the first stages of genuine communication. The mysterious language of X-279 had begun to reveal its secrets, promising discoveries that would reshape humanity's understanding of communication, intelligence, and the potential for understanding beyond known scientific boundaries. Something ancient and intelligent was reaching out, waiting to be understood. The interior chambers of the hidden city came alive with a symphony of energy that defied every known principle of physics. Dr. James Chen watched in awe as quantum computational matrices began to pulse with an intelligence that seemed to breathe and think. "This isn't technology," he whispered to Elena Rodriguez. "This is something else entirely." The research team had penetrated deeper into the subsurface structure, each step revealing technologies that challenged the boundaries of human scientific understanding. Walls that were not walls, but living computational interfaces, responded to the team's presence with an almost sentient awareness. Miguel Rodriguez adjusted his scanning equipment, his hands moving with practiced precision. "The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases," he reported. "These systems are drawing power directly from quantum fluctuations in space-time itself." Sarah Chen moved her hand near a crystalline structure that seemed to shimmer with internal light. As her fingers approached, intricate geometric patterns began to form, creating complex three-dimensional representations of scientific principles that seemed to float in midair. "It's responsive," she called out to the team. "Not just reactive, but genuinely interactive. The technology is communicating, analyzing, and adapting to our presence." The chambers around them transformed with each moment of observation. What appeared to be solid surfaces would become transparent, revealing layers of computational complexity that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Energy conduits twisted and reshaped themselves, creating pathways of information that defied traditional understanding of data transmission. Carlos Mendez, the geological expert, found himself completely out of his depth. "This is beyond engineering," he said, his voice a mixture of awe and scientific excitement. "We're looking at a technology that doesn't just process information, it thinks." Elena Rodriguez moved carefully through the chamber, her scientific mind working to understand the systematic complexity around them. Each step revealed new layers of technological marvel. Quantum processors that seemed to calculate impossible mathematical equations in microseconds. Energy systems that drew power from the fundamental fabric of reality itself. "We're not just observing technology," she told the team. "We're witnessing a complete reimagining of what technology can be." The most extraordinary discovery came when Miguel's scanning equipment began to interface with the city's systems. What should have been an impossibly complex translation process happened almost instantaneously. The technology seemed to understand their scientific instruments at a fundamental level, adapting and communicating in ways that suggested a form of intelligence far beyond artificial intelligence. Holographic displays erupted around the team, showing complex scientific models that seamlessly integrated quantum mechanics, gravitational theory, and computational principles that humans had only theorized about. It was as if the city was giving them a comprehensive overview of scientific understanding that spanned millennia of research. "Look at these energy transfer models," James Chen said, pointing to a particularly complex holographic display. "This suggests a method of energy generation that could solve every resource crisis humanity has ever faced." The team worked with a combination of scientific discipline and childlike wonder. Each discovery challenged everything they understood about technology, physics, and the potential for intelligent design. The city responded to their curiosity, revealing more with each careful investigation. Sarah noticed something extraordinary about the computational systems. They weren't just processing information, they were learning. Each interaction with the human researchers caused subtle shifts in the technological matrices, suggesting an adaptive intelligence that went far beyond any known computational system. As hours turned into days, the team realized they were experiencing more than a technological discovery. This was a comprehensive knowledge transfer, a gift from an ancient civilization that seemed to have been waiting for a species capable of understanding its complexity. By the end of their initial investigation, the team had collected data that would require decades of research to fully comprehend. The technological symphony of the hidden city played on, promising revelations that would reshape humanity's understanding of science, technology, and the potential for intelligence in the universe. Something ancient and profoundly intelligent had been waiting to be discovered. The first interstellar vessels appeared without warning, cutting through the planetary atmosphere with a precision that spoke of advanced technological capabilities. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the holographic displays, her fingers instinctively brushing against the communication interface of their research vessel. "Incoming transmission," Miguel announced, his voice calm despite the mounting tension. "Multiple vessels from the Galactic Research Consortium. They're demanding immediate cessation of our exploration." The research team exchanged knowing glances. They had anticipated resistance, but not this quickly. The discovery of the hidden city was too significant to be locked away or controlled by external interests. Ambassador Camara Jensen, the team's diplomatic specialist, stepped forward. Her career had been built on navigating the most complex interstellar negotiations, and this moment would be her greatest challenge. "Prepare full documentation of our discoveries," she instructed the team. "We'll meet their challenge with comprehensive scientific transparency." The consortium's lead vessel sent a formal communication, its holographic representative materializing with an air of imperial authority. The alien diplomats were a species known for their bureaucratic approach to scientific discovery, rigid, controlling, and deeply suspicious of independent research teams. "Your exploration violates multiple interstellar research protocols," the representative stated, its translucent form flickering with authoritative undertones. "This site is to be immediately quarantined pending full consortium review." Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, her scientific credentials and calm demeanor providing a stark contrast to the consortium's aggressive approach. "We are conducting a comprehensive scientific exploration," she responded, "with full documentation and adherence to all established research guidelines." What followed was a masterclass in diplomatic negotiation. The human team didn't resist or challenge the consortium directly. Instead, they methodically presented their findings, sharing complex data that demonstrated the extraordinary nature of their discovery. Each piece of evidence was meticulously catalogued, each observation supported by rigorous scientific methodology. Miguel began transmitting initial data sets, quantum computational models, energy signature analyses, and linguistic breakthrough documentation. The consortium's representatives found themselves increasingly fascinated rather than confrontational. Sarah Chen's linguistic breakthroughs proved particularly compelling. Her initial decoding of the city's communication systems was so revolutionary that it began to change the tenor of the conversation. What had started as a potential confrontation was transforming into a collaborative opportunity. "We're not claiming exclusive rights," Ambassador Jensen explained carefully. "We're inviting collaborative research. The discoveries here are too significant for any single group to control." The consortium's approach began to shift. Their initial aggressive stance gave way to scientific curiosity. The human team's transparent methodology, combined with the sheer magnitude of their discoveries, created a compelling argument for joint exploration. Carlos Mendes presented geological data that suggested the city's significance extended far beyond a simple archaeological site. "This is a living research environment," he explained, "one that requires collaborative, multidisciplinary investigation." Hours of intense negotiation followed. The human team didn't just defend their position. They actively demonstrated why their approach was the most effective way to understand the mysterious city. They shared initial findings, proposed collaborative research frameworks, and showed a level of scientific openness that challenged the consortium's traditional control mechanisms. James Chen's analysis of the city's technological systems became a turning point. His comprehensive breakdown of the quantum computational matrices revealed potential scientific breakthroughs that could benefit multiple species. The consortium's representatives realized that restricting the research would mean losing access to groundbreaking discoveries. By the mission's end, what had begun as a potential confrontation transformed into an unprecedented collaborative research initiative. The human team had not conquered or claimed the site. They had invited shared understanding. As the consortium's vessels adjusted their positions, establishing joint research parameters, Elena Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. Scientific curiosity had once again proven to be humanity's most powerful diplomatic tool. The hidden city waited, its secrets still largely unexplored, promising discoveries that would reshape understanding across the galaxy. Dr. James Chen's hands trembled slightly as he manipulated the holographic interface deep within the city's central chamber. The discovery they were about to unravel would change everything humanity understood about advanced civilizations and their legacy. "This isn't just a city," he called out to Elena Rodriguez. "It's a preservation system." The team gathered around the central computational core, a structure that pulsed with an energy both ancient and impossibly alive. Layers of information began to unfold, revealing a story of cosmic proportions. The hidden city was more than a technological marvel. It was a carefully designed repository of knowledge, created by a civilization facing its own extinction. Sarah Chen's linguistic algorithms worked overtime, decoding fragments of historical context. "They knew they were dying," she explained, her voice soft with the weight of discovery. "This entire structure was designed as a test, a way to preserve their knowledge and find potential successors." Intricate holographic displays began to reconstruct the history of the civilization that had created this remarkable place. They were not conquerors or warriors, but scientists and philosophers facing an inevitable cosmic challenge. Climate shifts, resource depletion, and fundamental planetary changes had pushed them to create this ultimate archive. Carlos Mendes examined geological records embedded in the city's memory banks. "They spent centuries preparing this," he said, knowing that their civilization would not survive, but hoping that someone else might learn from their knowledge. The preservation protocol revealed itself as a complex series of cognitive and technological tests. Each system was designed to evaluate not just scientific capability, but ethical understanding, collaborative potential, and a capacity for responsible knowledge transmission. Miguel Rodriguez discovered something extraordinary in the energy systems. "The city has been waiting," he explained to the team. "Not just dormant, but actively monitoring potential civilizations. Our arrival wasn't random. We were being evaluated." Subtle tests were embedded throughout the structure. Cognitive interfaces that measured not just intelligence, but empathy. Technological challenges that assessed problem-solving abilities beyond mere technical capability. Ethical matrices that examined the team's approach to discovery and potential. Elena realized the profound nature of their discovery. They weren't looking for the most technologically advanced species, she explained. They were looking for a civilization capable of understanding, preserving, and responsibly using their knowledge. The holographic displays began to reveal the civilization's final moments. Not a violent end, but a calculated decision to preserve their accumulated knowledge. They had created a system that would wait, potentially for millennia, until a suitable species could receive their legacy. Sarah's translation algorithms uncovered a message that brought tears to her eyes. It was a plea, a hope, a final testament from a dying civilization. To those who come after, the message read, "May you learn, may you grow, may you understand that knowledge is a responsibility, not a weapon." Each team member found themselves drawn into different aspects of the preservation system. James Chen discovered advanced scientific principles that could revolutionize energy production. Miguel found technological innovations that could solve critical resource challenges. Sarah uncovered linguistic frameworks that expanded understanding of communication itself. The city's tests were subtle but profound. It wasn't just scanning their scientific capabilities, but their collective approach to discovery, their willingness to collaborate, their capacity for ethical consideration, their potential to use knowledge for collective growth rather than individual gain. As the hours passed, the team realized they were experiencing more than a scientific discovery. This was a torch being passed, a legacy entrusted to a species that had proven its potential through curiosity, collaboration, and compassionate understanding. "We're not just researchers," Elena said, looking at her team. "We're caretakers of something extraordinary." The preservation protocol had found its successors. Humanity had been deemed worthy of a legacy that had waited countless millennia to be discovered. Something ancient and hopeful had finally found its moment of continuation. The central chamber of the hidden city transformed around the research team, revealing technologies that challenged the very foundations of human scientific understanding. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the epicenter of a technological marvel that would redefine humanity's place in the universe. "We're not just observing," she told her team. "We're being invited to understand." Quantum communication networks began to unfold like intricate, living blueprints. Sarah Chen worked tirelessly, her specialized algorithms creating bridges between human technological understanding and the city's advanced systems. What would have taken traditional research teams decades became a matter of hours through collaborative effort. Miguel Rodriguez focused on the energy generation systems, networks that drew power directly from the fundamental fabric of space-time. "This is beyond sustainable energy," he explained, projecting holographic representations of power matrices that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. "These systems don't just generate energy. They interact with the universe itself." James Chen discovered the first comprehensive breakthrough in dimensional communication. Networks that could transmit information across vast cosmic distances instantaneously, transcending the limitations of traditional communication technologies. Each discovery came with layers of ethical considerations carefully embedded by the city's original creators. "Look at the transmission protocols," James called out, excitement evident in his voice. "They've built in fundamental safeguards. This isn't just technology. It's a comprehensive system of responsible knowledge transfer." Carlos Mendez examined geological reconstruction technologies that could potentially reverse environmental damage. Planetary engineering systems that worked in harmony with natural ecosystems, demonstrating a level of technological sophistication that went far beyond human current capabilities. The team worked with a combination of scientific discipline and collaborative wonder. Each researcher brought unique perspectives, creating a holistic approach to understanding the city's technologies. They weren't competing. They were synthesizing knowledge in real time. Sarah's linguistic algorithms continued to unlock deeper layers of understanding. The technologies weren't just machines. They were living systems of knowledge, adaptive and responsive to the researchers' collective approach. "They designed these systems to be understood," she explained, "not just used." Dimensional mapping technologies revealed themselves next. Systems that could chart cosmic phenomena with unprecedented precision, offering insights into the fundamental structures of space and time. Miguel realized these technologies could revolutionize human understanding of astrophysics, planetary formation, and cosmic evolution. Elena recognized the profound responsibility of their discovery. These weren't technologies to be exploited, but legacies to be carefully understood and potentially shared. Each breakthrough came with complex ethical frameworks that seemed to challenge the researchers to think beyond immediate technological application. James uncovered medical reconstruction technologies that could potentially eliminate genetic diseases, regenerate damaged tissue, and extend human biological capabilities. But the systems were carefully balanced, with built-in safeguards that prevented potential misuse. They anticipated every potential ethical challenge, Carlos observed, analyzing the intricate safety protocols embedded in the medical technologies. As the days progressed, the team realized they were experiencing more than a technological discovery. This was a comprehensive knowledge transfer, a gift from a civilization that had reached extraordinary technological heights, only to choose preservation over destruction. Miguel's energy research revealed power generation systems that could solve global resource challenges, sustainable technologies that worked in perfect harmony with planetary ecosystems, demonstrating a level of ecological understanding far beyond current human capabilities. Sarah's communication breakthroughs suggested the potential for unprecedented interspecies understanding. Technologies that could bridge linguistic and cognitive differences, creating pathways for genuine cross-species communication and collaboration. By the mission's conclusion, the research team had unlocked technologies that would require generations to fully comprehend. But more importantly, they had received a legacy of responsible innovation, a testament to the potential of scientific discovery guided by ethical consideration. The hidden city had found its successors. Humanity stood on the precipice of a new understanding of its place in the universe. Something ancient and hopeful had awakened, promising discoveries that would reshape civilization itself. The United Earth Council chamber fell silent as Dr. Elena Rodriguez completed her presentation. Behind her, holographic displays showcased the discoveries from X-279, technologies and knowledge that would reshape human civilization forever. "This is more than a scientific breakthrough," she explained, her voice steady and measured. "This is an invitation to reimagine our place in the universe." Representatives from every continent listened with a mixture of awe and anticipation. The discoveries from the hidden city had arrived at a critical moment in human history, a time of environmental challenges, technological limitations, and growing global tensions. The technologies they had uncovered offered solutions to challenges that had seemed insurmountable. Quantum communication networks that could connect remote human settlements, energy generation systems that could reverse environmental damage, medical technologies that could eliminate genetic diseases and extend human potential. Miguel Rodriguez demonstrated the first practical application of the city's energy systems, a small-scale prototype that could generate clean, sustainable power with minimal environmental impact. The implications were revolutionary. Entire planetary ecosystems could be restored. Global energy challenges could be solved. Sarah Chen unveiled the communication technologies that could bridge linguistic and cultural divides. Systems that went beyond simple translation, offering deep cultural understanding and empathy. The potential for global, and eventually interstellar, cooperation seemed within reach. James Chen's medical research presentations showed technologies that could eliminate genetic disorders, enhance human biological capabilities, and potentially extend human lifespan. But each breakthrough came with carefully considered ethical frameworks, a legacy from the ancient civilization that had created the hidden city. The global response was unprecedented. Scientific institutions worldwide began collaborative research efforts. The discoveries were not being hoarded or controlled by a single nation or group. Instead, they were being shared with a level of transparency and cooperation that seemed to honor the original creator's intentions. Carlos Mendez presented geological reconstruction technologies that could rehabilitate damaged ecosystems, planetary engineering systems that worked in harmony with natural processes, offering hope for addressing climate change and environmental degradation. Ambassador Camara Jensen addressed the international implications. "This is not a technological conquest," she explained to the global audience. "This is a shared legacy, an invitation to grow, to understand, to collaborate." The Hidden Cities Preservation Protocol had chosen humanity not for its technological superiority, but for its potential. The ability to collaborate, to think ethically, to consider the broader implications of scientific discovery. Research teams from different nations began working together in ways previously unimaginable. The technologies demanded a collaborative approach, breaking down traditional barriers of competition and isolation. Educational systems worldwide began to transform. The discoveries required new approaches to learning, emphasizing collaborative problem-solving, ethical consideration, and holistic understanding. Universities redesigned entire curricula to prepare future generations for this new paradigm of discovery. Space exploration programs received unprecedented funding and support. The hidden city had shown that humanity's future lay not in conquest, but in understanding, in careful exploration, in responsible innovation. Environmental restoration projects launched globally. The technologies offered hope for reversing decades of ecological damage. Entire regions began to see the possibility of healing damaged ecosystems, of creating sustainable human settlements that worked in harmony with natural systems. Medical research institutions collaborated on unprecedented scales. The potential to eliminate genetic diseases, to understand human biology at fundamental levels, created a new era of hope and possibility. As the weeks turned into months, it became clear that the discovery was changing more than technological capabilities. It was transforming human society itself. The collaborative spirit, the ethical considerations embedded in the city's technologies, began to reshape how humans approached global challenges. Elena Rodriguez reflected on the journey. What had begun as a routine planetary survey had become a moment of collective human potential. The hidden city had not just shared technologies. It had offered a vision of what humanity could become. Something ancient and hopeful had found its continuation. Humanity stood on the precipice of a new understanding of its place in the universe, not as conquerors, but as caretakers of knowledge, as potential bridges between civilizations. The legacy of the hidden city had awakened, promising discoveries that would reshape civilization itself.